Hello and welcome to another episode of our mini podcast. Today with Sylvia, our product manager in connectivity.
Hello.
Hey, thank you for joining us. And why I invite you today, because I think you have quite an interesting story and path into product management. So tell us a little bit about your background. I know you were checking your LinkedIn before we started our podcast to remind yourself what you did.
Yeah, so my background is actually in hospitality. I went to the hotel school in Lausanne, and during my studies, I figured out that I actually quite liked the numbers and the technical stuff, which doesn't quite make sense with hospitality in the word. So after I graduated, I landed an internship in Dubai. Originally, the role was to be like an analyst for 5 of their owned and run restaurants. But I actually ended up doing none of that. They needed somebody to kind of take care of their social media presence and graphic design and stuff. So I ended up doing a lot of that and just kind of Googling and learning my way through the 6 months. But that was also like kind of the point where I realized that this is not really the path for me, even though it was fun to learn something new. So I was looking on LinkedIn and I came across Mews because Mews was doing a student business project with my alma mater. And
so you knew a little bit of Mews, or it was completely new?
I just came across it mentioned on a post from one of our old professors. So I clicked into it and it was like kind of building exactly the thing that I was thinking about back when I was doing my internships, during my studies. And good thing was they had a graduate program. And it was like 6 months in support. So you really get to know the products and you get to know the customers and how they use it. And then you have opportunities to do cross exposures, and then you can end up in different departments. And I kind of had an eye on product, but that was kind of a longer term kind of thing.
And so was hospitality always something that you were passionate about growing up? Was it something you always wanted to work in hospitality?
I kind of fell into it by chance. So in in high school, I also liked math. And I thought it would be fun to study business and kind of see behind the scenes of how the world works, because you're just kind of interacting with other organizations and people and how the money flows and economics and things like that. And a friend from my hometown, he was applying to the hotel school in Lausanne because he had family members who went to the school and really liked it. And I thought that was an interesting curriculum because you not only study a business degree, but you also get hands-on practice doing like internships. So in a way, it was nice that you kind of got to experiment in a safe enough environment to figure out if you like this or not. And then there was 2 mandatory internships each for 6 months. So you kind of get 2 chances to try things out.
To figure out if it's for you.
Yeah.
And so you mentioned that you were looking for something on LinkedIn and you came across Mews because it kind of combined tech and hospitality. But you didn't join as a product manager.
No.
You joined customer support to start with.
Yeah.
So how did that look like? How did you enjoy actually responding to the issues of hotels?
Yeah. So I actually had not really a lot of expectations coming in. I was just kind of first real job.
Like
a first permanent role, let's say. So I came in kind of just trying to see what I could learn about everything that there is to learn. Back then, we didn't have as much documentation like on the help center. So a lot of it was just kind of hands-on trying it out in Mews demo. And having that hospitality background was helpful in the sense that customers were asking about things, and it was easier for me to pick up on what exactly they were actually trying to do. Or
you understood what was night audit, you understood what is rebates and stuff.
Yeah. Or like, what are the ledgers? Like we had some intro accounting classes in university. So like I kind of got what they were trying to ask. So it kind of helped skip a few steps in already figuring out, okay, where they're going with this.
And I think back in the day, we really liked hiring people out of school of Lausanne and I think some other schools, right?
Yeah.
Because as you say, it skips a couple of things when you get in. But you didn't stay for too long in the classic customer support role. You moved into something that you kind of kicked off in Mews, right?
Yeah, so back then Mews was growing quite a lot. This was towards the end of 2019. So back then we just had like level 1, level 2 supports, but they realized there were also quite a lot of like more technical cases coming in. So we kind of kicked off what is now today the like product area experts. So I ended up in being like a connectivity expert, so solving issues that customer had with their integrations or door lock systems. So
looking into logs, like seeing what they were calling in the APIs.
Yeah. And we have this like on-premise application, right? So it was also a bit of like, hey, can you show me what you're seeing on your computer?
I remember going into hotels trying to fix it. It was crazy. Do we still have that?
I think we still do. I remember also visiting my sister over Christmas and actually popping into, I think, one of the hostels in Amsterdam, trying to like see what exactly maybe I've missed on our like online calls with the customer. That was a huge mystery.
I did a lot of, because I did support as well, and I had very little hospitality background, so it was very difficult for me to understand things. But this on-premise thing was just, oh my god, I was so scared of it, because we did also a lot of screen mirroring, and we just had to look like what are they doing, etc. So that was very stressful. Yeah,
and the tricky thing was every hotel had slightly different settings on the computer, and these on-premise applications, like they were also possibly affected by these settings. So there's no like kind of common standard that you could kind of go with, and sometimes we just clicked around and then suddenly it worked and we didn't really know why.
And just to tell you, the on-prem, we don't work with too many on-prem things, right? Everything is in the cloud, but this was for physical printing, and it was also, I believe, for the original door locks, right? Yeah. So just to kind of clarify, what are we talking about? So, and I think we talked about it before, but before this call, before this meeting, that you had always an eye on product management. How did that become a thing for you? Because product management is not something that little girls dream of being, or little boys simply.
Yeah, no. Actually, in high school, I thought I wanted to be a diplomat, and then when I was younger, I thought I wanted to be a scientist.
Okay.
But here we are. So this kind of came up organically through the 2 internships that I had to do during my studies. First was at what used to be the Hilton resort in Bora Bora. So I was just working in the front office, and exactly as you might imagine, guests come in, there's a queue, and then they have to fill in their forms, and you have to take their passport. And then when they check in, you have to then like retype the same details into the system. And then you had to be lucky that the guest had like nice handwriting. And then the second internship, since like I mentioned, I really enjoyed like kind of the more numerical classes, I thought it would be fun to do an internship in the accounting department of a hotel. So I ended up in a 5-star city resort in my home country, Taiwan. And what I saw was just kind of nuts. My dad's an engineer, so growing up, he always kind of instilled in us this mindset that technology should be a tool to make your lives easier. It doesn't need to be a shiny toy. And so in the accounting department, everything was super manual. We actually got a fax daily from some nearby bank with our like daily exchange rates.
Nice.
And then we had to like key that into a system, plus some like commission, because in Taiwan you can like basically exchange currencies at the hotel. And then for like your daily like accounting and then reconciling stuff that you're getting from your like credit card machines, every morning was kind of a ritual where the entire accounting department stood around a table, and then they were comparing like credit card receipts versus your like hotel bills.
There you thought, okay, I need to fix that.
And the thing was, my like line manager told me, oh yeah, we used to have an integration, so it was Opera and then like some accounting system, but it kind of broke. I later on learned it was because Microsoft sunset Windows XP, so they were no longer supporting it. But since we were in Asia, labor was a lot cheaper than actually investing money into building custom integrations. And it was just kind of stupid to me in the 21st century that we're still doing this kind of manual thing. And like APIs are not a new concept. You should be able to connect 2 systems easily. And why should we even like be depending on the fact that Windows sunset an operating system.
So how much does it help nowadays that you have a hospitality background? Because you don't work exactly with the system. You work with the kind of third-party integrations. Obviously, you have to know the system as well. Yeah. But how much does it help? Because we have a couple of your colleagues in product also have a hospitality background, but it's definitely a minority in terms of the product management team.
Yeah, so the product I'm working on now is definitely a little bit more distanced from the daily hotel operations. This is really more back office. So it helps in the sense that when we speak to partners, they're still working in the hospitality space. And then at the end of the day, we're trying to help hoteliers with some sort of automation or workflow, or making sure the data gets into like the systems that they're using. So like maybe the customers are checking in, checking out, but they also have like a loyalty system, and they need to make sure that customer information or guest preferences are synced across all their tech stack, so that the the different departments can use this data to do what they need. Because
we have for those who don't know Mews that much, we have like a marketplace, right? Where people, the hoteliers can just go in and select whatever they want to kind of enhance the Mews capabilities. So what is your role in this? Like, do you kind of guide the people who come to us and say, hey, we have this amazing product, we think that can help, your clients, how should we do it? Or what is your role in this? Or do you even research some, partners that we could add into the mix?
Sometimes. So I definitely did a lot more of that in my previous role in technical partnerships. So for those who don't know, they're a little bit like a combination of onboarding and account management and customer support for our integration partners. So other tech vendors essentially that serve the same customer base, the hotels. And oftentimes they will come in and they have different use cases, could be like revenue management or just even a guest portal or like a nice kiosk that you can place in your lobby. And they'll, so in that previous role, it was more of like an advisory role where they have their use cases and then we tell them, hey, okay, so we've got these functionalities in the API and your system can interact with the Mews system like this to achieve this role or to get this data, and then you can do this thing and then make something happen in Mews.
And you tell them kind of what is possible from our technical point of view.
And so you're working kind of within the constraints of what is possible today in the product. Whereas in my current role, it's a little bit more future looking in the sense that, we're speaking to the same audience still, but we then try to think a little bit of what could be possible in the future that isn't possible today.
Because you work a lot with the engineers and you kind of have to digest what the customer wants into what is actually physically possible.
And the one interesting difference is in a customer-facing or like a partner-facing role, your kind of scope of thinking is more focused on their needs as that one partner, whereas in products, you kind of have to try to see, okay, they're asking for this, but are also other partners or customers maybe facing similar issues? Can we identify some sort of pattern and generalize into a concept that's useful and reusable by a larger audience?
What is some major project that you're working on right now or something that excites you?
So right now, one that we're very close to piloting with a partner is a loyalty API. It works a little bit different from our usual API in that the partner implements the API and the Mews calls that. So the reason for that is because hoteliers or like your front office staff, their primary tool is Mews, the PMS. So that's kind of the screen they see on a daily basis. But maybe somebody in the back office or somebody managing the CRM, they're using another tool. But when a guest comes in, the staff needs to be able to quickly find the guest, see if they have some loyalty membership, and then they also get like different benefits depending on the tier. So what we wanted to build was this kind of an embedded experience which allows the hotel staff to remain just within that system, but within that system you're able to extract the information from other systems. So what the loyalty API enables is essentially still just the connection, but then the hotel can stay within that system. They don't have to go to like another loyalty database, for example, just to find the guest, see what tier they have, what points they have, should they get free Wi-Fi or early check-in, late check-out, that sort of thing.
I hope everybody has a free Wi-Fi these days.
Yeah.
Anyway, Sylvia, thanks for coming over. Good luck, in your growth, because I've seen you growing obviously in the company. It's pretty exciting to see these examples of somebody coming in from school and just growing into a product manager.
Thanks.
So as always, if you work at Mews, reach out to me or Sylvia on Slack. And if you're not working in Mews, you can reach out to us on LinkedIn. See you next time.
Bye.